All right, y'all, let's get serious. From my episode of Colorful Elephant in the Room and Game On, let's explain what the Baby Whisperer investigation has a program called Game On. Game On is to get our children equipped enough to talk to government officials, police, and anyone else that can hurt them and actually get adjudicated that it is not what we know it is, which is murder. Educational purposes. Today, I want to run through a couple of things with you. Game On will be coming out on March 15th. Game On is actually already done. And the reason why I'm bringing it out on March 15th is because everybody knows that I am raising two intelligent black men. My youngest is 16. He will be 17 this year. My middle son is 17. He will be 18 this year. My oldest son is 27. He will be 28 this year. A lot of you look at me and say, we see the grandbabies, we see the kids. We don't see all of your kids because they have a choice that if they don't want to get up here, they don't. But when I do Game On, you will see all three of my sons. Not my grandson, though. My grandson was just born last year, at the end of last year. Nobody will see him. Now, why am I concerned about this? I want to speak directly to my black American moms. Now, some of y'all get upset when I just speak to these mothers. But if you don't understand the struggle and you don't want to help with the struggle, this is where I'm going to become brash. Some of us have participated in taking children's lives, educational purposes. Some of us have gawked at it and said, are these children criminals? And some of us have sat on our hands and watched injustice for children. And here's what I have to say to you. You are the most pathetic person I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that I've been to a lot of countries and dealt with a lot of criminals, that says a lot about you. Educational purposes. This video is to educate you mothers. But before I do that and I do the video, I want to show you what I mean. Now, I understand there has been a lot of white American, indigenous American. I think you guys are a part of this group as well, honestly. Asian American, Spanish American, brown American, yellow, whatever you want to call yourself. Some of y'all have stood up for the community, the black community, and you have actually put your lives on the line. And for that, I say thank you. And don't think that the Baby Whisperer don't know you're out there, because you are. We see plenty of you up here and getting involved with the issue, and you actually take accountability for other people's stupidness, which I think you need to stop. Honestly, I think that all of us who come together and understand equality needs to hold the people accountable that needs to be held accountable, including the very own black individuals, a part of the community that are part of the problem. So before I run down these young men names that was cut down short by another individual's choice, I'm going to let you know something. You see, we might grow up in the hood. I didn't, but I know plenty of people who did. We might grow up with parents that can't afford things and work their asses off just to feed us or just for us to live in a roof. We might all come from different walks of life. But what you do not understand is, underneath it all, we all can switch sides. And guess what? What would you do if you woke up and didn't have the same color you went to sleep? I'm going to pause for dramatic effect. That's what I have to ask you all. What will happen if you woke up and didn't wake up the same color you went to sleep? I can tell you what's going to happen. Because all those people that look like me and wake up looking like you, guess what? You know all that animosity that y'all had towards us for no reason? Guess what's going to happen? It's going to be a showdown. That's what it's going to be. Because All the people that you think are so savage and ruthless was put in these positions to be this way. If you think about it, we don't clap back for no reason. The community that you call savages and not worth anything, who made most of the inventions that you stole, clap back for a reason. But here's what I want to say to the black community. We have to stop blaming all of one color for something that many of one color has done. Because like every argument, there's two sides of an argument. What we forget is, during the civil rights movement, there were a lot of white Americans that stood with them, fought for them, Underground Railroad, that helped them get to where they were. And they lost their lives. It is not fair that you get out there and you say all, because it's not all. But I am going to say this. In 2001, when I first put on a badge, I seen a lot of discomforting things. But unlike most of the community of black cops that I have seen, I actually put on a badge and did what I was supposed to do. Injustice and injustice, and you can't change yourself. And you can't say, I'm not going to put myself in this position when you took the oath to. There are a lot of things that happen that shouldn't. And that don't just go for black cops. I go throughout the whole community. How many of y'all gonna see something happen and actually record it and turn it into where it's supposed to and put it up here? I see a lot of people putting fights up here, but very few put something up here that should be able to impact us in a positive way and get it done. Yet I get a lot of people that get up here and tell me that I believe I want to be a white girl. I don't know where you get this from. I don't know where your stance is. I am not African. I am black American. I have indigenous West Indian blood and I have an indigenous native blood. I am not African, my dear. But I can tell you this, no matter where I am, blue, purple, or pink, black, we all look the same. And guess what? The division that we have in our community is helping them break us down. Now, y'all gonna jump on the bandwagon and get into my comments and say some stupid stuff. So you might want to listen to this whole video before you react, because the baby whisperer is gonna clap back. Matter of fact, I might even turn off all the comments. Why? What is the point? What is the point of me arguing back and forth with you when I'm trying to get injustice seen to light? Because we don't bring to light what we need to. We bring to light what we want to embellish and toxinize. We talk about all the kids that happen in the school shootings. But y'all don't ever pull out certain kids into the neighborhoods and say, fight for these kids. I see a lot of parents going into, and I applaud you, going into the school meetings and saying, we don't like this. If you keep sitting down, they're going to keep knocking us off. Yet when inventors and activists and practitioners and advocates get up and say, okay, let's go face the problem, there are very few people who want to help. You can get mad. You can tell me, baby whisper, this ain't right. But I'm telling you, you need to teach your kids game on. See, I bleed blue. I left bleeding blue and went over to Europe for a reason. Because what I saw, I didn't like. And amazingly, when I came back, it got worse. Ain't got nothing to do with the presidents. I don't care who up there. Whether they Democrat or whether they are Republican, we still have a problem. You want to know what the problem is? Where's our loyalty to our community? We talking about we don't want this taught and we don't want that taught, yet we're all speaking the same white language that they wanted us to speak. We're talking about, well, I dated this person and I did this. If you date a person to prove you're not racist, you're more racist than you think. They're talking about they're beneath us. We all bleed red. We all make mistakes, and karma's a bitch. She can hit all of us. When are we going to stand up as a community and say game on? If you take out that child, then we're going to take you down. We don't do that. We say that, we tried and we fought. No. Because if you say their names, there's going to be a point when people are going to get held accountable. Now, if they overturn it, guess what? Their life has still been stained. And your worth of what you're trying to do has just been completed. Now, people told me, I didn't see you out there with no justice, no peace. Some of the ones that I was at, you didn't see people get carried off in handcuffs either. I don't want to do violence with violence because sometimes the only thing that some of them understand is violence. But there are situations that they create that they only want us to do violence. And why is that? Let's think. Why is that? Because they only know that they can control with violence. We know that back in times that people have did protests of calmness and it got nowhere. We know that if X marks the spot, they were going to blow the spot up and it got us nowhere. But we never knew the fine balance of using the same tactics they use on us to use it back to them. But before we get there, we forgot one thing. Our parents taught us. They taught us. We're not teaching our kids anymore. We're teaching them to be combative is cool. We're teaching them that gangster and all of this is okay. We're teaching them to put some colors on. I belong to the biggest gang in the United States and we wear all colors. I tell y'all kids that all the time. You know how I get some teenage boys? They look at me like, what the hell is she talking about? Think about it. How many colors does a police force have? Not including the FBI and Homeland and CIA. Think about it. I'm talking about the police force. How many colors do they wear? And if you want to get higher up to the agents, we got colors too. How many colors do we wear? U.S. Marshals, DEA, ATF. How many colors do we have? Now, I want you guys to think about this. Think about the gang colors. Educational purposes, because I'm pretty sure this video gonna get taken down. But the only thing they don't know is this is going up on the Patreon page as well. Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself why they chose the Bloods and the Crips to go against each other. Because the Union and the South were blue and red. You want me to say more? Because you got to think of more. We keep forgetting that some of these problems come from someone injecting the poison. And for those of you who are thinking that some of these poisons came from government officials, I can tell you that some of these poisons came from government officials that look like you. Now, I've seen people come up here and they want to do a backhand compliment because they love the culture so much. And they have said the most disillusioning, disrespectful, disgusting things. And people have applauded them. But they say, I'm for my people. How are you applauding a racist comment when you for your people? Baby whisper, baby whisper, baby whisper. Why are you talking about this? I don't even know what I had to say when I sat through a whole conference of people telling me that the worst, oh my God, the worst community is the Black community. Now I'm going to say something controversial. Name me 3 Black mass shooters. Educational purposes. I'll wait. Because although you can name 3, I can tell you another culture that can up our 3 by 9 to our 3. Another question. You walk in the middle of a store. Your child gets taken. Who's likely more to say something? I just want you to ask these questions. Now, I know I'm going to get some balloon head that's going to come in here and say, y'all always making this about race. I'm not talking about just race. I'm talking about all race. Because as of 4 days ago, there is someone who witnessed a human traffic of a child, and her comment was, they mama and daddy ain't taking care of them anyway, so why they might have a better chance with that trafficker. Now, I want to know how many of y'all would be outraged. Y'all be ready to go with the pitchforks. Y'all be getting the Nines and the Hennessy and Cavacasse. Y'all be getting it all together. Did I just make a cunning 10? Yes, I did. What does that mean? I just joked my own community while all of y'all gonna be like, yeah, here we going. You're not getting the assignment. We are losing our children. And no one's getting the assignment. We all throwing out this thing about it's race. It's race have been part of the United States growing. Because see, as America, when they did something as America, guess what? It got done, said and done, and put a pin in it. And then all of a sudden, we were fighting to become the United States of America. And things changed. There had to be a dominant race. You would be looking at the dominant race. But because you have brainwashed, you have beaten and brought it, you have put it into their heads that we all got to compete with each other. What happens when we stop competing and we stop telling them what they want to hear and say, let us take over? What happens then? Where you find land and you just dock at it and say, this man. You ain't paying nobody. You doing your own thing. What happens if we have to go back to that? Are we going to learn and this is going to change? Or are we going to go back to business? See, y'all asking the wrong questions. And I'm sick of seeing kids getting buried. And educational purposes, because I know y'all gonna say something. I am quite sick of seeing mamas cry at their child's funeral. I'm so sick of seeing division that it's gotta be a mass destruction for all y'all to get together, yet y'all still don't do nothing. Because the colorful elephant told you y'all different. What happens? What happens? You don't know, do you? You sit there and you say you want to make a change, yet we're still teaching our kids hate. You sit there and tell everybody you want something to change, but it's never going to change. It's never going to change because you're never going to change it. And while you sit there and talk about change, your children are taking the wrong side of the stick and they're just going to knock out everybody. When are we going to smarten up? And if you got boys that you are raising to men, we seriously got a problem. At this moment, there is a father teaching their son to hate another man by the color of their skin. At this moment, there is a father telling their son that they got to put a gun on, and that's only how they going to win. At this moment, there is a father telling the person they more dominant than another person, and that other person might have to save your child's life. What you going to do then? Question. Y'all want to always throw race into this. So I'm asking you a question. Are we going to start building our own hospitals? How about our own schools? Are we going to run our own money? Pharmacies, grocery stores, clothing stores. Just got a question for you. What happens when our whole life changes? And we don't know what to do because we have no choice but to face the person that we taught our children to hate. Now, I don't care about y'all adults who have no common sense and don't want to hear a damn thing. You want to run your mouth when you know nothing about what's going on. I know a little something. I know that I keep saying 900 because I wish the number was not 9,452 young black men, teenagers, and boys as young as 10, older than 80, have been murdered between educational purposes between the years of 2015. And by the way, we're in 2024. In January, that number went up another 3,000. But we all out there fighting for what? We spewing hate of what? We listening to what? Because I don't mean no harm. Some of y'all got guns and you ain't never shot them. So what good are you? Some of y'all be talking like you got bodies for a reason and you were actually fighting for your life. What good are you? Some of y'all don't even know what to do when you hear a gun go off. You jump at fireworks. What are we good for? This not the movies. And what we teaching our kids is not keeping them alive. So if you would like your child to have a course that is going to help them stay alive or help them get justice, you might want to pick up Game On. That's all I'm going to say. It's the Baby Whisper. I'll be back for a little something for the parents. Y'all whisper. I might not answer y'all parents, but I'm damn sure going to answer them kids. You want to know why? Because the children are trying to fight for their life. And it seems to be some parents are fighting for themselves. It's not our time no more. Y'all don't get it yet. It's not our time no more. And these children need to have a chance to get up and go. Are we going to help them change history? We can't change history, y'all. We can change the future, though. And at this moment, if you think that your culture is one up, all of us are in trouble. Y'all know what to do. If you whisper, I will come. Shh.